Rabbi Katzin, I guess, likes when I start speaking about myself first, and then we'll see where it takes us and what I do. Yes, originally I come from Kishinev many years ago, in '79. Okay. Came here, somehow miraculously, but I'm not going to get into it, how I ended up in a Jewish school. I was totally secular, not knowing anything. And as I was in Jewish school, obviously I was becoming a little bit more observant. That's the right word. And eventually I was pre-med, went to college. Then I met Rabbi Katzin. And that's when my shift. Until the year of 2007, I was teaching academy. Then I went into the real estate world, went into the professional world. And today I do two things. I enjoy real estate. I enjoy the professional business world, even though the real estate today is coming down. And I enjoy teaching, and I enjoy rage, and I enjoy coming and spending time with you. Gives a certain meaning, I guess, in a person's life. So this is a little bit about me. And I'm going to ask you, start from here. People look at me, today I'm more in the real estate world, more in the business world. And real estate today is not like it was in '07. In '07, when I started the business, I started doing short sales with mortgages are more than the properties is worth, and then we started negotiating the mortgages, brought the prices down, and then I got investors. I used to buy a lot of properties, and there was a time I used to buy like a lot. We used to have there was a time I had like 4 closings a day, believe it or not. It was like running from one to another, to the third to the fourth. It was just a beautiful few years. It was just unbelievable. We used to buy the properties for $200,000, do the work, sell them for $800,000, $900,000. It was a beautiful business. Unfortunately, that business didn't last. I enjoyed distressed real estate. I enjoyed problems, always dealt with the problems. And what people run away from, that's what I run towards, because that's where I see the opportunity. So let me ask you guys, ultimately everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to make it in the business world. Everybody wants to make it in the world. And I'm not just talking about myself, just something to share. How do you believe a person could become ultimately a very successful person in what he's doing? No matter what field he is, it doesn't make a difference if he's in computers, it doesn't make a difference if he's in marketing, if he's in real estate, whatever he's doing.
He's consistent.
If he's consistent, very good. But how do you learn the consistency trait? How do you become consistent?
Effort.
Put in 10,000 hours.
A what?
Put in 10,000 hours.
Putting 10,000 hours. I'm going to tell you in short how to define the essence of a successful person. If somebody will ever tell you that they became successful and they never had any hurdles, and they never had any difficulties, and they never had any hardships, I'm telling you, don't believe them. Some people have hardships along the way, they have difficulties. Everything they worked for could fail right in front of them. They could invest a lot of money. I know somebody that called me on Friday because he was drilling oil. He lost quite a few millions of dollars on Friday. It was like literally, I don't want to use the word depressed, but he lost a lot of money. So how the person loses money really defines, believe it or not, in his down thing, how successful he is. Because it takes an art to get up, to be strong, and to continue. Because it is during the down times, believe it or not, that's when the person really thrives. That's when the person, you see who he is. Not many people could handle it. People file bankruptcy, people could shift, people go different ways, People go down, people become depressed, it affects them, it affects their families, and so on and so forth. So how do you achieve, and I would use the word greatness, because only great people don't give up. People that give up, there's no way they could reach greatness. So they'll go to another job, they'll do something else, they'll never reach their success. So how do you reach greatness? How do you take a failure, so to speak? How do you do it?
Treat it as tuition, just like our learning experience. Like you said,
So how do you do that? You see, in theory, it's very easy to give ideas, to give advice, to say certain things. But when you face a certain downfall, you play the stock market and you invested a lot of money in the market, and the market crashed, and you know it will never go to those places unless whatever it is, you just lost your entire 401k, you lost everything. For us to say it's easy, consistency, don't give up, it's easy. But when the person is there, you understand what I'm saying? Once you're there, what gives you the ability and the knowledge to know that even if I'm going to fail, I'll thrive? Courage? Okay, but how do you get this courage?
I think the main thing is just like learning from the mistakes in general. If you can learn from where you failed or like what made you fail, you'll leverage them in the future. Like you can hedge your losses in general. And so if you learn from that particular situation, it won't be as bad anymore, or you'll know what to do.
Okay. What do you say?
Like experience.
Experience is good. It's good. Rabbi Katzin knows that somebody told me once that I spoke to somebody, probably one of the wealthiest people in the world, in America for sure. So I spoke to him, and I asked him, "No, what's the secret? How do you do it?" So he said, 2 words. Remember 2 words, and I promise you you'll succeed. He said, okay, 2 words I could remember. What are the 2 words? He says, good deals. Thank you. And then I said to him, how do you get good deals? He says, 1 word. Experience. Then I said, okay, how do you get experience? He says, 2 words. Bad deals. That's when I came home and I told my wife, I'm doing the deal. And she says to me, do you know what you're doing? I said, no. One of 2 things is going to happen. Either it's going to be a good deal, or I'll have experience. So I'm not going to lose the opportunity. Either I'll have experience, or I'll know what not to do the next time. But sitting home, obviously I'm not going to get me anywhere. So how do you get experience?
Good deals.
Bad deals. But how do you make it through bad deals? You know how many people I know that changed their careers? You know how many people that were going one way that ended up doing totally different fields?
By following the process, not necessarily profits.
By following the process. Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Know when to give up and move on.
No. And how do you know when to give up and move on? How do you know? I'm looking for something very, very special that will help you get there. How do you know what you should do?
When you tried everything?
When you tried everything. It's very interesting. There's no Torah here. But you know, we have a book, right? It's called Torah. You know how Torah is called? How's Torah called?
Teaching.
Huh?
Teaching.
Torah is called Chamishe Kunshe Torah. 5 with the 5 books of Torah. Can you imagine you're writing a book of life? They're there to teach you what to do, what not to do, how to do it, how not to do it, and so on and so forth. The book of life. And you're naming the book of life of how many chapters there is in the book. 5 with the 5 books of Torah. You couldn't come up with a better name? Call it Book of Life, Book of Eternity, Book of Direction, there's so many names that you could come up with. To call the book of how many chapters there is in the book. You're cheapening the name. 5 of the 5 books of Torah. How does that make sense? Somebody would ask me what name to give, and somebody would ask me. I promise you that would not be the first choice. You're naming the book 5, I don't know what 5 means, of the 5 books of Torah. What does that mean?
Be exact.
Huh?
Be exact.
To be exact?
Has to show that like it takes time, like there's steps, you know?
It's serious.
So I'll tell you, perhaps, I believe, the most important lesson that you could hear for life. You could forget about anything else, but don't forget this, because this is really going to help you to live a good, happy, successful life. It's really going to help you. Remember it and tell your children, and tell them to tell their children, because then they'll be successful. There were a lot of people in Egypt. How many people came out of Egypt? So the Torah says only 20% of the people came out. 80% never made it. We are 1/5, 20% have connection to the 5 books of Torah. Now let me ask you something. What is the difference between the 20% and the 80%? They saw the same miracles. They saw the same wonders. They saw everything the same. But 20%, we are all part of the 20%. 80% never made it.
You didn't have the courage to leave?
They what?
Didn't have the courage to leave?
No, they wanted to leave,
No, I mean
but they
the-
couldn't. They didn't believe them. How can you not believe? They saw the plagues. They saw water turning into blood. They saw frogs. They saw wild animals. They saw everything, the same thing as other people see. So what's the difference between these people seeing and those people are seeing? Emunah, belief.
Wait,
So what's the difference in the belief?
they didn't leave Egypt, you're saying?
They didn't make it to the receiving of the Torah. They all died like in the 9th plague, it says.
They complained. 80% complained. They weren't risk takers.
So I'll tell you the difference between 20% and 80%. When I used to teach, I used to say, I know that I'm teaching 20%. 80% goes in one year, comes out another year. Reach 20%, it's up to you. But I know 20% will be attached to it. Unfortunately, there's 80% that don't make it to the, people get, people lose their identity and so on. The 80% used to say, you see all these miracles and all these wonders and everything that's going on in the world and everything. Hashem is doing it for us. He's doing it for us. I'm so happy and proud to be part of this club. And the 20% said, not for us, for me. Hashem believes in me. We think greatness, I have to study in order to know. The more I know, the better I'll be off. I'll get a better job. People are going to like me more. Greatness is someplace over there. We think we have to achieve greatness. And we're always achieving that greatness that's someplace else. We're failing to realize there's a tremendous amount of greatness within us. We are great. God is within us. He made us in His form, in His shape. We just have to reach inside of us to realize and recognize the greatness that we have within. To the degree that you realize how great you are, to that degree you're going to realize and you're not going to allow the failure to get to you. But you're only going to see the opportunity when you fail. That's what's going to give you courage. That's what's going to allow you to continue and to say, my job is to have my eye on the ball and I'm going to get it from here to there, no matter what hurdle is going to meet my way. Unless you have that, there's no way you're gonna make it. Any successful person that you know, okay, he's successful because he was able to overcome that. Success means overcoming the difficulties, overcoming the hurdles. But you have no idea about the people that didn't make it. Why? Because at the end of the day, they did not believe in themselves. The greatest gift you could give your wife or your spouse is yourself. To the degree that you realize you're great, then you're sharing that greatness. The greatest gift you could give to your employee, whoever you're working for, is the knowledge to know how great you are. Yes, you have to learn, and yes, you have to study, and yes, you have to believe in yourself. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. Success does not begin, if I'm going to make X amount of dollars, I'll be very successful. If I'm going to get accepted to who knows where, to elite place, I'll be very successful. It's not where you're going. It's who you are.
It's not the same as confidence.
That leads to confidence, yes. The more great you feel within you, the greater confidence you will have, 100%. Without it, you're not going to make it.
And how do you prevent arrogance?
Okay, that's a beautiful question.
So what was the question?
That's a very beautiful question. You know what arrogance means? You know what arrogance means? I have met a lot of people in my life. I have met very successful people. And I have met, how to say, successful wannabe people. The right and the left of the better words. You know what I'm saying? People that are successful, they don't need to prove themselves. They don't need to show off. People that are not successful, they want to show something that they're not. And that shows a lack of confidence. And that shows a lack of greatness. I want you to believe in me wannabe, but it's not me. It's a very, very deep concept. I, for some reason, cannot, I do business with a lot of people. I can't do business with people that are very, very arrogant. It just doesn't work. We're not in the show world. At the end of the day, we came here for a few years. Time flies. I look at the mirror and I can't believe that I'm already so white. Time flies. We came here to leave a perception about us, who we are. What do you want people to say about you one day? Imagine, sometimes you gotta imagine things. Imagine for 1 second. Just imagine, you're 80 years old. And imagine your grandson comes over to you and says, Grandpa, Grandma, I love you, I respect you, I admire you, I believe in you. You went through so much in life. You have so much experience. Is there anything that you could tell me to help me be successful, to help me live a good and happy life? And I want to tell you something. Whatever you're going to tell me, I'm going to write it down. And I'm going to post it on my wall. And I'm going to live by that. You know why? Because I love you and I respect you. And I know that you want what's best for me. And because you know what's best for me, I am going to continue in your path. I am going to write this down. I'm going to put this down on the wall, and I'm going to live by that. Please, Grandpa, tell me how to be a successful man. Imagine your grandson comes to you and says that. this is something that we have to leave over for our grandchildren, what would it be? What would you tell them? Don't tell them a general, be happy, be successful, don't let anything get in your way. General things, okay? A lot of things are not in my hands. What advice would you tell him? To assure him, because you love him, you really do. To assure him, happy, successful, good life. What message would you tell him?
Be a good person.
Believe in yourself.
Be what?
Be a good person.
That's general, that anybody could say. What does that mean?
Don't live life with regrets.
Don't live a life of regrets, okay? That's something. Okay? I mean, I regret some stuff that I did because I shouldn't have done it. We're human beings. Sometimes you could grow from the things that you did.
Just experience.
Okay, okay. Anyone else?
Believe in yourself.
To believe in yourself. I'll tell you what I would tell him. Just my advice. My doesn't mean anything.
I guess, like, don't be scared to try new things, because if you don't, then you'll never know. It's like the same thing going back to, like, no regrets.
I'll tell you what I would tell him. And I think it's deep what I'm going to say. It's not anywhere in the books, it's just my personal thing that I came to. And I would tell him like this. Don't be an expert of what other people have. Because if you will, you'll be miserable. There are many people, if I could only have his job, if I could only have his money, if I could only have his wife, if I could only have his children, the people live a life and they think to themselves, if I only, and they think if they would get that, they would be happy. So I would tell him, don't be an expert of what other people have, because I promise you, you'll be miserable. But be an expert of what you have. Your wife, your children, your job, your personality. And then you'll discover harmony within you, and then you'll be the happiest person around. Don't live a life of looking at others, you will never succeed, and saying, I want that. You have certain tools. You have a personality, you have a charisma. You have something that's given to you personally. If you just tap to that, there's so much greatness there. And to the degree that you could tap to that and realize and see that greatness and bring it out, you will be the most successful, happiest person around. You will never fail, because even if you do fail, you will look at it as an opportunity to grow and become better and stronger. That's why even failing has purposes. You will never fail. You will succeed. You will be happy. You will have a beautiful family, because you'll have what to give to your families yourself. You'll have a beautiful job. You'll have such a beautiful life. Don't be an expert of what other people have. It's not going to get you anywhere, because you're not going to get there anyways. It's not going to come anyways. But be an expert of what you already have. And understand how great you are. All the miracles around, it's because of for you personally. For you personally. And then you discover unbelievable harmony and unbelievable beauty. Very successful.